Hi, I'm Octavian, your ethics support guy, and today we're talking about a controversy around Adam Smith. But first, let's take the basics out of the way. Born in 1723, Smith was an economist, political philosopher, and ethicist from Scotland. He is well known for writing the bestseller On the Wealth of Nations, your landlord's favorite book, and this is why he was dubbed the father of economics or father of capitalism. But as next year marks the 250th anniversary of this famous book, which Smith should we choose to remember? Asked Antara Haldar for Project Syndicate. For those unfamiliar, Adam Smith wasn't just the founding father of modern economics and capitalism. He was primarily a philosopher who first wrote the theory of moral sentiments. There he argues that morality doesn't come solely from pure reason or divine command, but from our capacity for sympathy. So he tries to develop a moral theory out of everyday experience rather than from a philosopher's or a politician's point of view. In his second book, his famous Wealth of Nations, however, he seems to argue not for fellow feeling, but for self-interest that creates benefits to the world like an invisible hand. And I quote, "It is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own interest." For centuries, scholars have struggled with this, seeing a contradiction between the compassionate moralist of his first book and the architect of self-interest in his second. This dilemma became known as the Adam Smith problem. Antara Haldar argues that the contradiction isn't actually in Smith's work, but in our own simplified reading of him. She points out that the German historians who formulated the problem were actually just projecting the split personality of modernity itself, one half obsessed with mechanism and efficiency and the other with morality. The truth is, Smith's later economic philosophy was simply an extension of his earlier moral framework. The invisible hand was never an ode to greed, it was a metaphor for how social benefits can arise from individual motives. And I quote, "Our merchants and masters complain much of the bad effects of high wages in raising the price and lessening the sales of goods. They say nothing concerning the bad effects of high profits. They are silent with regard of the pernicious effects of their own gains. They complain only of those of other people." End quote. The problem today is that in the 21st century, we divided morality from economics. In the conquest for mathematical precision, Smith's nuanced moral agent was replaced with a simplified stick figure of rational calculation, which in turn makes economics feel amoral. Smith's answer was never unbridled markets, but a moral economy grounded in sympathy and the pursuit of human flourishing. This is why Haldar urges us to revive the dialogue between efficiency and empathy at the 250th anniversary of Smith's Wealth of Nations. And now let's come back. I give you my respect. What should I write about next? Like if you like, subscribe and push the notification bell. Over here I have other videos that YouTube thinks you should watch. Take care.